yesterday. I know we didn't stream, but we did see a lot of people in the uh the live chat on the Discord, so that was cool. We got a lot of good conversation, a lot of good review, some good trades, right? Not too much went on yesterday. But let's go ahead and start with the monthly as we do every single day. So looking at the monthly, you can see we've had a little bit of a pullback off of the high. All eyes are kind of now on this previous month's range. That high is 39.24. The market's currently trading at 39.1875. So we're back inside the previous month's range. So really, you've kind of got to look for acceptance back inside that previous month's range, and then we'll be once again, if we find acceptance, we look at that 50% retracement, and that was like that 3750, 3800 level. But relatively no change, just a pullback off of the high on the monthly, still, still kind of sitting in relatively the same spot. We switch to the weekly. The weekly's back inside the previous week's range and kind of back inside this balance. So, and we're pulling basically right to support. You can see we were hitting right that 20 SMA. But we had kind of a little 3-week balance moving on. We moved above it. This week opened up. Actually opened up here, checked above, tried to get continuation, and is now kind of back testing this area for support. So we'll see if this holds. Right, this is kind of that area that I liked, that I was talking about getting long from, this 39.22. On any pullback, I thought the market might pull back to here before heading up higher to test trend. And you can see that the trend is still up here. If we switch to the daily now, you're getting kind of this look below this 4-day balance, heading right to that 100 SMA, and then kind of catching a little, I wouldn't say bounce, I would just say slowing down here. That's really it. But this is kind of the key area. This is kind of a key area, and this is kind of what I'm thinking here. So we have, previous resistance support, previous resistance support. If we go to the left of the chart, there's even more resistance and support. So what I'm thinking here is, if the market gets below this level and gets accepted, then we're going to make a new low. If the market doesn't get accepted below this level, then there's good odds that we at least trade up to this 200 SMA. All right. We're still making these higher lows off of the low. If we even wanted to extend this a little bit here, I mean, even just to there, you can see we're making these higher lows. We just made a higher high, and so the next target really would be up here, but that would be a break of trend. So we're gonna just look at this 200 SMA. If we're able to hold this level, and that holding this level would be acceptance back above that 39.51. And so that'll kind of be the key. I know we're pretty far below that as of right now, but I really kind of think that that would be the ticket or the target, really, if the market is going to continue up. And I do kind of think that's what at least what the market's trying to do right now. So switching on over to the profile. I need to pull up the CME website real quick. Let me go ahead and post this real quick too. Hopefully the volume's on the stream. I think it is. Yeah, you can hear me in Zoom for sure, but I'm talking about on YouTube. I don't know if they can hear. All right. So jumping over to the profile here, we can see the settle was 68.5. So we'll move this to 68.5. Half back was right on the point of control. 77, call it 50. The last trade was 74. There's not really much to tell about the profile, right? I mean, it kind of just like, all day just balanced for the most part. I mean, finished right inside initial balance, check the high, excess on the high, excess on the low. To me, it looked like selling. I mean, it kind of looks like a B profile, right? It looks like more of liquidation. YouTube's good, thanks, Jason. It looks more like the selling was just pure liquidation and not necessarily short covering. And then it looked like momentum shorts were trying to pile on, pile on, pile on pretty much all day and never got the chance. And then overnight, then they finally got the chance because that bigger buyer or uh, you know, the the trades are just a little bit easier overnight naturally because there's less liquidity or less resistance. And now we're pulling back to that 1110 point of control half back and the 100 SMA right there, and our 3922 level that we've been tracking for quite a while now. Um, and it's not like, oh, 3922, like I don't worry about levels to the tick. um, and so if you're new here and that's what you're thinking, that's just not, worrying about exactness can get you into more trouble more often than not. But let's look at overnight inventory, right? We can just assume overnight inventories for the most part net short. We do have some overnight inventory that tried to hold, so that looks like probably who got squeezed out. So this inventory is probably taken care of, and now you're having some inventory that's probably short. So any response when we get a tick above zero, it's a rather large gap that we're going to be opening up on 64 to 20. So pretty large gap here, um, or 60 to 20, right? So pretty large gap. You're gonna want to be careful because the market can be really volatile early on. But if we get a tick above zero and all of a sudden the breath starts to turn, weighted AD starts to go, and our sectors are all green, that's going to be the opportunity to jump back onto that fade. So, just be ready for that. And also, you've got to be ready for a liquidation break for a continuation. We're below the T2 low, so you can maybe expect some margin call selling. Let me reset this. Um, you can possibly expect some margin call selling from this prior days or prior balance area, some shakeout, some weak longs possibly. So either or is possible. We don't really want to get a bias before the market opens. We just want to kind of listen to what the market tells us when it opens up. Um, as far as economic events go, 916, we've got plenty of time. As far as economic events go, right, we had that Philadelphia Fed manufacturing, continuing jobless claims, which really was kind of a non-factor for the most part. The market didn't really moved up, moved down, and then it's right back basically where it was at when the report came out. Today's kind of a Fed heavy day. We have Bowman, who's on right now, just started at 9:15. Then we have Mester, who's on in 22 minutes. Then we have Fed Governor Jefferson at 10:40. So, pretty heavy Fed day. Feds are basically speaking like pretty much all day. So we'll have to be careful on um the news as far as it comes out, to just make sure that we're not not getting too biased, right? Today's one of those days where you can get into some trouble because we're kind of in like a no man's land. Could be a lot of volatility. Morning, Peter. Morning, Lecker. Morning, Tommy. Morning, Roach. Let's go ahead and take a little peek around the block real quick. Start with the dollar. Dollar's balancing lower here. So let's go ahead and watch this level. The Australian dollar got a little smackarooski so far today. The euro's still balancing higher. We're still watching that 106 mark for the euro. Bitcoin still just kind of balancing lower. Oil breaking trend again to the downside. So not looking, not looking ideal. Not looking ideal here. Still, I mean, still kind of a little uptrend here, but made a lower high again. So we've got lower high, lower high, lower high, a higher. We got a higher high here, but this is kind of yet to be formed. So we'll kind of see how this forms. Um, we'll do. I think there's some opportunity coming up in oil. Watch this level here. If they don't break this level, there might be some opportunity to get long in oil here. Switch over here to Apple. See, Apple got up to that 150 level, just been kind of getting rejected. Got above it, couldn't hold it as support, and then puked it yesterday. So we really kind of have to keep watching that. That 140 level is really the key level that it has to hold. Any pull back to that 140 level, we'd really like to see Apple hold. With the market pulling back as far as it is, morning Thomas, and Apple's still holding these higher levels, that's kind of bullish to me. I think I think the market, at least is getting held up a little bit. AMD pulling back into support. That zero gamma levels right at that 70. Amazon really just struggling to get that 100, but it kind of looks like just accumulation under the 100. People start selling, 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 and then, you know, get a nice move after that. The FANG itself is gapping lower this morning. Google coming down a little bit, but not too crazy. Definitely opening up on a gap lower. Meta got smacked pretty hard overnight. I mean, you figure this is 3% overnight, so it's a pretty decent drop. Um, Microsoft looks similar. Nvidia actually doesn't look too bad. They just had those earnings yesterday, so we're gonna kind of see what happens with them. Netflix, yeah, Netflix looks kind of weak. That 300 has just been I mean, I can't believe it's back at 300 now. But it's just it's on a tear. Really, 270 pullback that it holds is probably still good. TNX starting to move up here a little bit, but still a pretty decent ways below 40, so that's still looking good. Tesla looking weak still. It's just been the weakest one of the bunch lately, so we can't really expect much. The VIX did pop up a little bit, up to 24, off of the low of 22, so up about 2 basis points, but not really anything to write home about. All right, it's 9:22. I'm gonna take a quick break and then I'll be back ready for the open. Morning, Dad. All right, now we're ready. We're motivated. We've got 4 minutes until the market opens up. We are ready. Kill it. Feel that gap down here. Remember, this halfback is an old halfback. I could erase it. That's hundreds on 39, 50. A little bit of volatility kicking in here right before the open. Remember to watch closely for this tick and the sectors here.
It's sectors.
Yeah, the sectors. They're blacked out right now for some reason. All right, there's our open. Little bounce right there off the open. That tick opens up 1749. All of our sectors are going green right away here, especially healthcare. Healthcare's catching a rip. Big buy order, 1975, 166 lots. The breath is negative 13 and 2.9. And I have a double distribution look here already. Watch that 1200. It's sitting right on the 20. MD got to a put. Might get into a put. Breath not really picking up. Tick is coming up a little bit, but I mean Tick's still below 1,000 here. I don't know. I like this 39.22 level. This is a level I was planning on adding anyways. But maybe for a long-term play, I think. Nice little bounce here. Let's see if we get any continuation up out of this zone. Nasdaq looks a little bit stronger than the ES, but not by any significant margin. U ups all the way up at 43. VIX still coming up. Sectors are looking good here. Even financials wants to go green, it feels like. Watch is going crazy. So you kind of see that that level right here on the 20 still 1,200, still sitting there, right above the 20, I guess. But yeah, like right there. That's kind of the level I'm watching here. A break below this level would probably get the open, but if they can't break this level here, then it just kind of seems like, well, why can't we just keep going up then? It's kind of a go with situation. You feel like kind of a fade of the gap situation, but the longer I feel like they don't get below that level, that looks like they got it there. Let's watch how this plays out. Nasdaq's breaking up. Pretty even buying and selling on this in this area though. Like no, I don't think I would say that buyers are really just kind of dominating or sellers are really kind of dominating. I'd say it's pretty balanced to start this session. Dow's breaking back up as well. The fuck was that? Sellers might be in a little bit too aggressive here at 22. I get a down tick, so that's actually showing that their aggression was met with more aggression. So actually a good look for sellers there. So there they go. Let's see if they can take this open. Weighted AD starting to come down here a little bit. Breadth is about 10, but the NASDAQ breadth has kind of picked up here a little bit on the downside. Ooh, the tick just pops up a little bit there. What's interesting here is the tick on Sierra charts is actually trying to pop above 0. It's close to, like, it came right up to 0, whereas the tick on Thinkorswim is not even close. You would think they would be the same. They're definitely buying. It's almost kind of like this is what's happening here. It's almost like we balanced higher, right? There was a bunch of short inventory. We did have some decent excess up there. And then what's happening now is nobody's really buying this. It looks like a lot of the buying is just short covering. That's what all the buying was, or all the selling was yesterday was just liquidation. Then you got this momentum selling. Now it seems like these momentum sellers are kind of buying their positions back here. We'll see. Failure to take that Globex low is really a true sign of weakness, I feel like. Even if we do end up getting back below the open, if they can't take that Globex low, that's like another sign of weakness. So far, there really just hasn't been any trades, though. Like, I mean, there's been opportunity, I guess, like always, but not much, not much of a range here. 10 points.
Did you take a trade off the open?
I added a trade into my long-term account. A trade that I'll hold for like a couple of days, maybe. NASDAQ coming up to its high. So sellers are ready to capitulate and take profit right here, but buyers aren't willing to step up to pay them. If that makes sense. That should make sense. We're kind of like just stuck in this little shitty ass range. But honestly, this thing could still rally up to like 60, 39.60, and still maintain its downtrend from the high. If we look over here at the daily chart, um, just like an intraday, just off this high here. See, this is like it's like 39.78, so it could still come up and get rejected back inside balance, but it's really got to get back to that 39.50. Yeah, it's like buyers don't have the juice to here to take any stops. So it's like if you're short and they just, they just can't take your stop and you just get to keep riding it down. Covering. Sellers might be stuck here on this 23 to 22.75 here. Does kind of look like it. They're trying it again, same level sellers are. They're stuck again. Sellers are getting stuck down here, guys. Careful. On a phone call, hang on. Hello? Google Sheets, the blue line is the 50 moving average. Yes, it is. And this is a 1 minute chart up here. So this is like as right at the action as it gets, I guess. Like this is fast. Coach, are you still in the long? Time and sales work like a charm for that little head start in the trade. Fuck yeah. I'm glad I was able to like, because so you then the pieces they're matching up then from yesterday. That's good.
Yeah, I'm still in. I'm
Oh good.
still in. I got to stop at 25, but I took most of it off. I only got the runner.
Nice. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just for that little quick pop to give you the couple ticks to, you know what I mean, get one off. Work nice.
Yeah, I'm glad you were able to see that. Like see what I was talking about
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah, yeah, exactly. No, I appreciate it. Thank you. I say it's not gonna work every time, but I mean, I
No,
stop.
yeah.
But I also, when you said it at what 23 or something. I saw
23,
it
yeah.
before you said it. I saw it. I'm like, yeah, it was fucking right. It qualified what I was seeing when you said it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I saw it again at 25 quarter, I think it was, and then I jumped in.
Yeah, I got filled at 23.50. No follow through really yet though. I want to see that. I'd like to see this tick get above zero though. Weighted AD is positive. Just financials and consumer discretionary basically kind of holding us down a little bit, but just barely. Tech is really on the up and up. A lot of short covering, I'm sure. But the volume's starting to turn back a little bit more bearish here. AMD popped through value area high, 0 and 40. Pretty cheap day for AMD options. You think it's an EMA? It is an EMA. You are correct, sir. Is it not supposed to be an EMA? TJ, is TJ in here? I'd have to ask TJ what he uses. I think he uses exponential. That's why I put it on there. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's why I put it on there, the 50 EMA. Well, right down to the cash VWAP. Right down basically to VPOC and halfback and all this crap. So if this thing bounces, look for that offer on 27 and see if they re-offer that level. So you should see big selling volume come in because they're trying to sell down here a little bit, but they're just not doing a great job. So let's look for that 27 to get reoffered if it does. And that'll kind of give us some insight on if we want to still get long or not. Because we're not really a huge fan of this. See this 1042 on the profile? That's kind of a weak look from buyers, right? Because it had an opportunity to move up and buy this weak spot because price was up here. But they didn't, and they let it come all the way back to value. So that's kind of a weak look from buyers, in my opinion. The breadth is basically in thirds. The liquidation straight to that 50 EMA. Getting a little cooling here. Healthcare, look at healthcare dropped from up 0.2 to 0.5 here. I really hate that this thing just goes black and then comes on. And remember, gap rules are still in play. So as much as like it looked like a nice, seller's trap, and we got a nice little fade trade, or a little pop trade right there, fade trade, I guess you would call it. Um, we're still pretty far away from this gap here. So definitely want to remember that we do have gap rules going on and balance rules too. And kind of both of those rules, when you think about it, are telling us to get short. But the market's just not, it's not being obedient. It's not really giving us much opportunity, to be honest. I mean, there was some opportunity up there, I guess, to get short when we saw the offer at that 27. That's why I'm kind of looking for that 27 to get re-offered and maybe a spot to get in if there's no if the re-offer shows up. But the a mixed day here, feels like. So you think about the first thing we do when we think about balance is we monitor for continuation, and for gap rules we're looking to go with any gap that doesn't fill. So we're having a breakout of balance and gap rules down. It's almost like we should be just getting on board the short here. There we go. Watch the 22. That's where that impulse was from. It hasn't broken above negative 600. Yeah, the tick looks super weak. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, there were so many mixed signals. Now we're seeing all of our sectors flip to red here. That tick gets below 1,000. There goes the break. See if they can get it. Battling back and forth across the open there. Remember what we said, a true sign of strength from sellers should break the Globex low. I mean, they've definitely got to hold it below the open to make that happen. So, all right, so there's going to be some opportunity coming up here. If this thing breaks, we should get a nice liquidation pop. If they can't break this low, and then all of a sudden shorts start to cover right here, and you see like a small volume bar here, a little kind of gap in volume, and jumps up to here, that's a go with situation, and then trade that thing back to the volume. I mean, maybe like 21, because that's where kind of like this volume starts. But this is just tapering volume, almost like someone's just kind of like sucking this in here. But it could mean that someone's slowly moving down and letting buyers get trapped as well. And that's why I think maybe if we break, but we don't break the Globex low, there's that opportunity there. If you're already short, of course, you want to see it break the Globex low. And they're just hammering on this thing. Look at the tick. Tick is extremely weak. Weighted AD's coming down. They fixed that weak low. Haven't really seen any short covering. Okay, so there's a little bit. There it was. We got the weak volume. Buyers. 'Alright, just got to get over the 18 here. If we can get over the 18, we're in the clear. We should trade back up to the 21. Oh, come on. Let's go. Alright, there we go. Above the 18. Be good here. Come on, don't even fuck with us. Let's just keep going. Zero calls and 110 puts. Oh, great. So they're unable to just pop and run that 18. They got a little bit above it, but nothing real significant. That makes you want to just cut it. When the market was down here earlier, the breadth was like -13. So it's like got him again at 15 quarter. I think they trapped him at 14 half, to be honest. Well, I think it was just short covering off the low. But I mean, you can see like it's pretty tapered for the most part all the way up. That's what I'm thinking. Like this 18 has the volume on it, but if they can just pop this, it could take us right up to that 20. And longs are profit taking here, weak little bitches. Oh, you're not in? Yeah, I got long at 15 and 15.75 and 16, and then covered at 18, and then it rotated back down. I had one lot left on. I put it at the B low, and I'm just holding it as a runner. You got out at 18. Yeah, that's where I took off two lots was at 18, and I put the last one on the B low. So basically, it would have been like a net zero trade because I would have lost on the one trade, but it would have lost like 2 points, and the other one's gained. Yeah, it would have been like a plus 2 point trade, I guess. And now it's up. Now it's up, not bad. But I'd like to see it just go here. That offer was up at 27 here. We're back above the open. Put in some good volume. Tapered right off the low. Breath is getting down. Tick's about to go green. Back to the 50. I mean, it's like, I mean, we're back kind of in that no man's land here, really. Good play, though, huh? Shit worked out like a fucking charm. Not fucking, not any crazy volatility, really. I mean, there's like, it's very, choppy, but not like any crazy, run the Globex low, run back again. None of that shit. It's kind of a pure, cut out, weak seller identification fade. So it looks like that 21.75, that half back was once support for buyers, short-term buyers, and now looks like as they've kind of flipped and they're trying to sell it. But we'll see, I guess. Okay. Okay. We like that. Decent little trend coming up here off the top too. Off of like the overnight high. I think that is. Yeah, that was off of the overnight high. Remember that offer's up at 27 here, so if you're still in the trade, don't be afraid to take some profit. Around this level. Morning, Patrick. Pick fails at 0 once again. It looks like it. I mean, I don't know. It's tough. Like, it, it's hard to tell if this buying is really just short covering or if it's actual buying. Tapering off the low, like the volume tapers off. So like it's like like 525, 1400. This one's 1200, and that's kind of because of the short covering. That's where the trade came from. But then 31, 42, 50, 70, 64, 64, 71, 90, right? 80, still pretty up there. 90, 90, 10, 10, 10, 12, 13, 12, 12. So it tapers off the low, whereas off here it's like 133, 1700, 33, 33, 33, 41, 36, 20, 1,000, 36, 50, and then 90. So it almost doubles right here at the 25. You remember how to use this?
Yeah.
Okay. Just gonna breathe in. Breathe in. Hold it. All right, one more time. All right, now go blow your nose. Off on me. Yeah, it's like someone's like just like it's like someone slowly just like accepting it. You know what I mean? Like someone's just like a buyer's just down here, and they're like, yeah, how many do you have? Like I'll just slowly take them until you stop selling them. You know what I mean? Like it's like if you think about it, as price moves down, sellers have to move down, and they're slowly selling less and less and less and less and less and less at a gradual pace. Yeah, for sure.
Feel like you're mono.
Oh. A lot of volume coming in around this 22. The news. Volatile. There's no way they hold the 26 again right here, 27 again right here. If they can't hold this 21, this half back right here, 20, 21, 22 level, then they're going to lose that 20. That they're going to lose. Well, 26 is where the weak volume's at. That's kind of where I'm going to start unloading some of this position. But 27 is where the offer was at earlier. That's the number I've written down at least. So that's where I think maybe some more selling will come in. If they can't hold this half back. If they can hold the half back, then I'm going to bail on this position. But it doesn't look like they're holding it. Yeah. Should see stops that run to 25 here. Was this guy not fucking listening? I said stops that run to 25 here. The old college try for sellers there. That's all that was. There's that 25, so we got those stops. Those sons of bitches. Right. But like sometimes you watch the order flow and you're just like feel bad for some of the other people that are trading. You're like, oh dumbass, what are you doing? What's that meme? Like, oh no, what is you doing, boo boo? That shit just like see, and this is kind of a weak look here from buyers now. Because they should have went up and hit the offer, which is up at 27, but they couldn't even fill in that weak spot up there at 26. So that's kind of a weak look right there. So they were able to trap enough sellers. So you wonder, now this makes you wonder, is there a bigger player in the game that's doing a liquidity gathering technique again? Kind of similar to yesterday. Remember there was kind of just like liquidity grabs on all sides of the profile yesterday. All right, we want to see some buyers step up in there. There we go. That's what we wanted to see. I'm playing this dangerous game where I just move my take profit one tick in front of price and keep moving it away and away and away, hoping that'll chase it. All right, so the offer came back in on the 27, as we kind of expected. See if these buyers want to just jump up here and fill this in. Where's that VWAP at? VWAP's all the way up at 35. VWAP's actually coming down here though, pressing right up against this trend. Hard to get a grasp on this market right now. No conviction, I feel like. Okay, there we go. More sellers trapped on the 24 there. That might be what we need. Come on. Come on. Let's watch for this offer on the 27. I just took one off on 26.75. Actually, 26.50 it says. That's bullshit. It should have been 26.75. The next spot is 31. That I'm looking at as far as the spot for the market to fail. There's this weak volume there down on the. There's 31. If we can pop this, what do we have? 10 minutes. We could get even single prints here. Weighted AD's going big green here. Broken the downtrend now. VWAP's at 35. 31 is this kind of spot that was weak earlier though, so we're gonna kind of be careful here. Nasdaq's above its VWAP. The Dow is right below its VWAP. ES is still a little bit of ways below its VWAP. Holding this weak spot here would be bullish. If we hold above the weak spot, excuse me. So we're back below that weak spot. I need to see these buyers step up and kind of backfill this area, or else that's going to be an extremely weak look from buyers. And these are the previous single prints up here from 1110. So from that move up, right? All those trap shorts, you assume that if we get into them, we should trade just right through them. I would assume that. You got profit taking off the high. Take a peek here at crypto as well. You can see ETH getting some upside here. Not breaking that previous swing low. Did break yesterday's low, but kind of holding, and didn't break, the overnight low. It looks like it wants to head back up to this 1200 here, or 1232, that weekly VWAP. Back inside its kind of balance, which would be lows here at 1241. And this is a mechanical high sold right off of VPOC. I would say 1265. If ETH gets some gas here, what's the volume look like? I'd say there's some pretty decent volume in this last bar that's gone up here. Take a look what the CVD tells us. A bullish divergence. ETH. Interesting. So ES fails right off of its VWAP, which is right there at the 35. The Nasdaq's pulling back to its VWAP right now, and the Dow is basically pulling back to its VWAP right now as well. So the ES is really the only thing that hasn't reclaimed its VWAP yet. Big pump on the Nasdaq there. Watch this 32 level. If sellers don't get back below 32, they're just fucked again, and we're going to keep going. We should trade right through these singles. If the market touches these singles, we should trade right through them, honestly. Not like, fucking instant, but we should trade through them. Just doesn't look like a spot to fail here. I would assume that if sellers are going to add more, they're going to add more, probably closer to the 60 level, I think. They're just covering their last bit of shorts that they've got a chance We didn't get down into that gap. We didn't even get below the Globex low. It looks like that short-term seller that was here realized they got trapped. They sold more here to get it back down, and kind of now are covering is what it looks like to me. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'm just watching these VWAPs on the Dow and the Nasdaq to see if they hold above or if they break back below with the ES, because the ES hasn't been able to reclaim its VWAP. There's C period opening up on some single prints. I'll be back, guys. What's that? All right, I'm back. So NASDAQ fails to hold its VWAP, so does the Dow. ES fails to claim above. The single prints fill. Let me get this little rotation back to 27 here. Let's see if we can identify what we've got going on here. We've got this weak spot here, 3,000. We have kind of a little half pipe here. The backside of this half pipe tapers. The backside of this one kind of cuts off and then gets another little bump here and then cuts off again. We do have a little bit of tapering until here, so we can assume that that 31 is still holding as the resistance spot for the most part. And on strong buying, we should see the profile start to do this. Right? It should start to be more balanced. The buyers should step up from all of these areas here and kind of fill this in so we can start to see more of this look. I know it's a little bit, not as exaggerated as this, but kind of have to use your imagination when you're looking for like what can happen and think about, okay, if that's going to happen, what is making that happen, right? And so we think about that. If this is how it starts to develop this balance, these buyers start to fill in this weak spot here, we can assume that they're probably stepping up, doing a little bit of backing and filling, backing and filling. In order to qualify strong buying, we need to get above, where's that, this level here, like this 32-ish area. That's where that volume kind of popped in. Get above there to get that continuation up. If not, you're just going to keep fading from those levels, and then eventually on the downside, whenever, as the market comes down, if the market comes down, as it comes down, you look for the tapering to kind of start getting, dying off, and then just get on board with it. Ride it back to the point of control, right? Don't get too greedy. Same thing with balance. If you want to look for the fades or the shorts, I mean, not even the fades, because you're going with the gap. But look for that, and you want to fade it back to the center. What are my settings for the VWAP? Just a regular VWAP, 24 hours. I have the cash VWAP on as well. That's down at 23. Oh yeah, I have them just both on. Um, the way that I have it set up on Sierra charts is like it only shows me uh the level that it's at. So I don't have this line right here. I just have um like this number and then a thing next to it that says VWAP and then my thing down here that says cash. So it's not like just because it clogs up the screen, I feel like for me, and I get like that analysis paralysis. I can't have all that shit on my screen. But it's still good to know where it's at. But I mean, cash VWAP, overnight VWAP, which one's more important? Probably the cash VWAP, but on a day like today where we have a big gap down and we're basically getting bought off the cash VWAP and sold at the overnight VWAP, that's kind of the situation here is like if this cash VWAP gets above the overnight VWAP, then we're gonna have an explosion. But it's really hard to kind of decipher um, which one's more important or which one's better to pay attention to. It really just depends on kind of the time frame you're trading, really, I think.
Damn, does nobody want to buy this 39.30 right now? It's on sale. Get it while it's hot. Just keeps going up there and like, nah.
Yeah, they keep just fading it from the high and then buying it at the low, it seems like. That might have been your trade of the day right there to fade that. The tick didn't get above 600. I mean, look at the breadth. It's so hard for me to just like be short bias. And even though it's going against balance rules, it's going against gap rules, like, but we're not getting continuation. Continuation would take us below the Globex low. It didn't break that low. And that's really what kind of turned me off to the short side, which is how weak those buyers were or the sellers were. And it's not even like a weak low because there's still 3 ticks of excess below the current day's low. So let's see if they fill this area in here. I wouldn't mind a little pullback to 39.22. Nasdaq's trying to get back above its VWAP here, though. Watch this 30 half here. We see where the weak volume's at. Where that uh like where the volume just kind of died off, basically. Sellers are being aggressive now that we're back under the 27. Down to that 22 and see how you feel about that. There's that 22. Let's see if we catch a little bit of bounce here. Buyers start to step up. You better not let this thing above 27. A bullish situation forming here is holding of the C low, a skip of this inventory, right? Because that would tell us the seller that moved lower here, and that seller's kind of sitting on this 23 again, same level as this morning. But if they skip this weak inventory and the market keeps rising, these shorts that are short here on the 23 are going to be trapped. You kind of have an inverse situation, but I don't think there was many longs here. I think the ones when that pump down to 22, that little jump down to 22, I think that was the short covering here. So now you're going to need to see more sellers move down in order to get this thing lower. See where they go from. Right above the open looks like a spot that they need to go to fix, maybe. Let's see if selling steps in here. Good offers on the 23 still. There goes some volume. There's not much you can do here. Unless you're in the short still. And if you're in the short, you're looking for that 17 quarter to take profit at. Take some profit at, right? You have to obviously target the Globex low naturally, but because of how this volume is here, I would say you might get a little response, especially mechanical buyers buying the open. Ticks coming back down pretty low. Sectors are cooling here a little bit. Consumer discretionary's picked up some speed to the downside. Weighted AD starting to try to roll over. And remember, these sellers cannot let this thing get back above 27. If it gets above 27, we'll know that they're stuck on this 23. And if it gets like a pop and doesn't just kind of backfill here, if it gets a pop over the 27 and it holds, then we should see enough shorts trapped to get continuation to the upside. But so far, the market is just balancing, right? Just sitting in the B balance. So like regardless of you're picking a side or not, think about it on, like if this is 3 days, here's value area, values overlapping, value areas overlapping 3 days in a row, excess on the high, excess on the low, break of the low would be balance rules, break of the high, balance rules. First thing you do, monitor for continuation, right? Things you check for continuation, right? Look at the breadth. When the breadth was down here, the market opened up, it was like -13. So if we're going to see continuation, we should get a fairly negative breadth. Maybe not -13, but maybe, like a -8 or something like that. -2 at least on the NASDAQ. On the upside, you start to see, weak breadth still like this, but you want to see a positive tick. And you'd like to see, obviously, I'd like to see this volume spot get skipped, but we'd like to see volume come in with it as well. When the market was up at the high, tech was like 1.17. So when it gets back up there, that's another thing we'll look at. We'll look at the tech bubble and see if it gets back up, like strong buying there. Yeah, there's two Fed speakers on right now. I'm watching Twitter, but I'm not really seeing anything like, if anything, they're kind of like undoing what they said yesterday. Yesterday they said a bunch of uh hawkish things, and today they're saying a bunch of dovish shit. Fed's Bullard says, I expect rapid disinflation once the process takes effect. Like, okay, so basically he's assuming like as soon as inflation starts to come down, the market should go up. That's basically what he's saying. Fed's Bullard said the October CPI report is encouraging, but just one data point. Damn, look at that. Where have we heard that? You must be watching our stream. Or maybe watching Jim Dalton. Fed's Bullard said he's aiming for 5.5 to 5.25 minimum. 17 quarter was that kind of weak level. They tagged it right there and it kind of fixed it, but still needs a little bit more love, I think. You see some mechanical buying right off that 17 quarter. Too far away from the 17 quarter and you're going to start to see shorts cover again. That'll take you back to that 23, and then that's make or break time for sellers again. Because we know there's some buyer competition here for sure right at the 20. But we know there's some short covers right there below the open. Or above the open, excuse me, right above the open. People are just covering shorts rapidly. See if they fix this taper here. It's like when you go to the barber, you get a taper and you know they kind of fuck it up. And you see there's one line that's just out of place. So boring. Like, come on. Like
Yeah, so
buyers
we got
held the low.
5 seconds for D. I guess we'll see what happens. It's going to be a kick in the pants if it doesn't actually range outside of C or move outside of C.
A big bid just kind of forced their way in the market there. Yeah, there pops up. See if they're getting any continuation.
Volume is only slightly lower. 3 or 4%, something like that from yesterday.
Sellers might be stuck on this 20 here. So they just reoffer that 23 bit, basically 22 half. And this is like what we were talking about. This is kind of make or break time. Look at the tick. Tick looks pretty strong. Breath is not looking super strong here, but not looking super weak, and we're at the lows. But if a D period were to break up, we'd go from being value lower to value higher. We're still on for that 26. The range is just so tight today. You know, you've got to be picky. You've got to be in and out. You can't be holding on to a loser. You can't really be holding on to a winner too much either, because you don't know if it's going to rotate back. Because we've basically just rotated back and forth again for the second day in a row. Nasdaq and the Dow both don't look as strong either. This is interesting.
So hard not to be enticed by this buying right here.
Yeah, but you wonder if this buying is short covering above the open. That's the thing I was just thinking to myself. Like I wonder if this is real buying or if these people are just short covering above the open.
It's like I got into a long and I got out at 22, right? Like almost nailed the top. And then I averaged in again at 20. And I don't know. I bought in again at 20 and then it went up to 21.50 and then came right back down and then gave a few taps below it. But because there's no continuation, it's hard to trust a long when it's just been going down the last 30 minutes, you know?
Right. And I mean,
Which
gap rules, balance rules, like everything's saying that we should be selling rallies, except for the internals of the market are not on agreements of selling rallies. So it's a tough day to really kind of like you just have conflicting information everywhere.
mm,
Except for here at the trade bets, where we tell you the market always goes up. You just have to be patient enough to wait for it to get to the spot where it's going to go up from.
here at the Trade Feds, we believe in the up market.
No, I mean last week was so nice because we literally got long, caught the breakout, and then caught the short side both days in a row. And then I wasn't on the computer for like that big liquidation move, but we caught the nice trade that next day. And then this week, even on that big move down, when I texted you guys yesterday by the dip, you know, that was obviously a winner situation. We knew where overhead
Yes.
resistance was overnight, 86. We never got above 86, and then the market liquidated.
Yesterday was pretty balanced for the most part. And then today's looking the same way, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
It's like once you recognize what kind of day it is, you don't expect no breakouts.
I know the range was tight yesterday. What was the range? I mean, how far did it go? Is it, because this seems like it was tighter than it was yesterday.
It might be. I Yesterday's range was 60 to 94. So like 40 points. And today we're at like 14 to 35.
So that's 21 points. So basically half almost.
Yeah, it's a tight range today for sure.
Damn, I wish I held that long.
Yeah.
It was just hard. After listening to Brad saying, like, the winner could turn into a loser like days like this, and after me doing that shit all day yesterday, I had to bet myself.
Basically, what I do on days like this and yesterday is like I'm just getting in and I'm basically just getting my stop like right at break even, right away to try to catch up little pop. Like so like today I have a lot of trades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 13 trades, but a lot of them are for like a point and a quarter or like a tick or like negative a point. Like they're all kind of like just in and out trades because they weren't I'm trying to get into them and I want them to win right away or else I'm gonna just get out of them. And so I don't think
Okay.
there's anything wrong with that. Catching that breakout is just basically an exhaustion of you know basically there was too many weak-handed shorts that couldn't fill all of the buy orders from short covering, but all kind of, to me, I think a wash, really just like old business. But it is kind of like new sellers taking it over for old sellers. So
Okay. If D doesn't break above that 27, do you think we're gonna start seeing like testing the overnight lows and stuff like that?
yeah.
AMD caught an offer. Okay, good.
Good to hear, because I got the same exact thing. I'm getting 4 to 6 tick winners with a break even, 4 to 6 to break even all day. So at least,
And
you know, you're doing the same. So
Yeah.
we just dropped 20 cents in IT sector in the last, I don't know, 30 seconds.
I swear, I think that's the hardest sometimes, identifying when you need to take, your quick points and then when you need to let them run. Or at least for me, that's been a bitch.
yeah, me too.
I don't remember where I read it, but they say entry is important, but exit is importanter.
Yeah, it always sucks when you have like a 10-point winner and then you end up like, getting 2 points because you're just trailing your stop looking for more.
Yeah, and it seems like every time you say, they'll keep running on you when you get out quick, and then you say, you know what, I think I'm gonna leave this one in, and that's the one that fucks you.
All right, guys. Well, I hate to cut it early, but my daughter gets out of school at 11:30 today, so I gotta go snack. I mean, we kind of know what to expect, right? A break lower, we want to see continuation. That needs to break the Globex low for any sign of strength. That 27 has been acting as that offer above, so above that 27. If it can't get above there and establish, then really any long that you take needs to be mitigated by this Globex low. Other than that, you're just kind of guessing at that point or risking it for the biscuit there. But yeah, other than that, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will catch you guys on the Discord. I don't really have anything going on, and only 11:30, so I'll probably get back on the computer when I get home. But yeah, other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure you manage risk, sticking to your trade plan, and I'll catch you guys later.
All right. right.
See you, bud. Thanks.